Hello everyone. How you doing today? I hope you are all taking good care of yourself and I hope you are all, studying well, working hard and trying to, make your dreams come true. Now, today in this podcast, I want to address specifically my students, my dear students who are going to appear for INICET tomorrow. And what I want you to learn today, and what, because I know that you've kind of done with the studying part, you know it, you've worked hard, you have seen everything that you wanted to see, you have revised, but still there is an anxiety inside. What would happen? How would the paper feel like? What would the exam pattern be like? And will you be able to do your best? And I know all this creates a lot of anxiety. Now, I thought I'll give you a perspective like if I was giving my exam tomorrow, what would I be thinking about? And what would you should how would that help you? And I'll try to give you my perspective. Okay. So number one thing that I saw in the recent past and I want you all to learn from it is there's always a silver lining to every dark cloud. Now, we are in the middle of a pandemic, and we are in the middle of a situation where every day is unpredictable. What's going on? What would happen? What would not happen? But if you still notice, in the last 2 days there is a silver lining, and there is an like those results by Pfizer, results by Moderna on the vaccine with 99 more than 90% efficacy. These are very very bright thoughts. And if you look back at their story, this is the first time they are creating a vaccine based out of mRNA and with the mRNA technique. And second thing is they started their work as soon as the when the in the China, when the Wuhan outbreak was there and the virus sequence was released. They based their idea on from that moment onwards, and that is why they are able to do it so fast. So you might say, so what is this to do with my exam? So you're going to face an exam. It's not the end of the world. The world is facing a bigger exam called as a pandemic, where the lives of millions of people are at stake, and there are people of science who still are looking for answers and who are still trying to solve things. What I believe is that every answer, every question that you face in your exam, that you face in your life is solvable. But somebody has to put his mind to it. And that is the first thing I want you to do in the exam tomorrow, that you will make a pledge that you will not let the question go without thinking. Because in these kind of exams, which are high value exams, like this is like the biggest exam in India, where all institutes of national importance in India would be creating an exam for you. So when you see those questions, some of times when you look at a question, you may not know the answer. But when you look closely, when you analyze the choices, you will be able to reach to them. Just like in the beginning of the year, if somebody would have told you that you can produce a vaccine in less than 1 year, even the brightest and the biggest of the minds in the world would not agree. They would say it takes 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, 15 years. Now, here we are looking at a positive phase 3 trial. So, if they can do it, you can do it as well. Do you agree to my point or not? And second thing I want you to know is there is something which I always believe, and I want you to feel it rather than listen to it. Feel the thought that I'm going to tell you today. It is about people who are big match players, and I always believe that there is something in people which differentiates them from ordinary. Like do you agree there would be so many talented people, there would be so many talented sportsmen, so many talented students, so many hardworking students, but there will be some who would rise to the occasion and play the match of their life. Let's try to understand it further. Like do you agree, do you agree? And we all love a man called as Virat Kohli. Why is Virat Kohli so special? Because if you remember, he has that knack of rising to the occasion when the match really matters. We all loved Saurav Ganguly. Remember Dada? So, one of my favorite cricketers, big match player. You know, these are the people who rise to the occasion. What do we mean by rising to the occasion is that, tomorrow when you'll be giving your exam, you need to give an exam of your life. This is a high value exam. This is for the first time we have 11 central institutes giving their seats to a single exam. This is an high stake exam. Let's rise to the occasion. Now, this is what happens in real life. All students who are at equal level, some of them would rise to the occasion, some of them would spoil the opportunity by, you know, by say anxiety, silly mistakes. You can't let it happen to you. You need to rise to the occasion. You need to numb yourself to the anxiety. So what I'm going to tell you today is, in tomorrow's exam, the outcome is not just based on you. The outcome is based on how others are going to perform and how you perform with respect to others, and that is where your ranks and your seats would be decided. And that is the truth of anything competitive in the world. Like suppose you run very fast, but there are people who run faster than you. This is not under your control. So what you need to do is, let us, in the next 12 hours, 24 hours, the time that you have, let us stop thinking about things that you cannot control. Let's stop thinking about competition. Let us not think about what others are doing, what others will do in the exam. Let's not bother about it. That is okay. We cannot, and the truth is, we cannot stop others from studying. We cannot stop others from, flipping through multiple pages and all those things. And, you can't hold their hands. So, you can't win a game of cricket by stopping the other team from playing well. That's not legal. You need to. So that is, so when you try to control the uncontrollable, you create anxiety and stress. Let it go. Okay, take a deep breath. Okay, and let it go. Let's forget about others. It is not about others, it is about you. And it is not about any exam, any seats. It's about you trying to do your best, so that when years later you talk to your grandchildren, or years later you write your own story, you can write that you were always a fighter and you always did your best. It is about you. So please show up in the exam tomorrow. I know some of you might be thinking, let's give up. I don't want you to give up. I've never given up in my life. That is the truth of my story, is that if there is a problem, there is an issue, I say bring it on. That's why I'm in a leadership position in my company, because if there is a problem, I would say bring it on. And this is what I want you to do. Bring it on. Let's show up. Let's show up in the exam, and let's give the exam to the best of our abilities. Let's give the exam of our life, so that when you come out of the exam, you have no regrets. You know that you've done the best you could. And then leave the outcome to God Almighty, and He would always have a bigger plan than we have. So this is what I truly believe. And this is what I wanted to tell you today. That I'm not going to tell you what topics to read today and all those things. You know that we've already taught you to the best of our abilities in the classes. And today I just want you to know the mindset. The mindset is about that when there are people who would rise to the occasion in the toughest of the times. So there will be students who would rise to the occasion in toughest of the exams. But the only key is these people don't give up. And I don't want you to be the one who gives up. So don't give up. Show up in the exam. Don't give up on any question. Just don't think that this question is no, you don't know it. You know everything. Even if the language of the question is tough, there will be something in the choices that you would know, and you will be able to rule out, you will be able to reach to the answers. You have patience, you will be able to see it. We have been given as a human being this divine ability to see answers. It takes time sometimes. We may, in anxiety or in our hurry or in our, focus on more on the outcome and the results, we lose this ability, but it is inside you. And we've seen it happen in front of you. In last 12 months, we've seen, how science has progressed, and we've also seen how, you know, chaos has progressed also, how, a vast majority behaves in a pandemic, and how doctors and science, people of science, they behave in a pandemic. We've seen it all, and we would see more. But there is a silver lining that despite the chaos, there were people, there were scientists who were working on vaccines, who were working on new techniques, who were working on mRNA technique, and they could get an answer. So if they can get an answer to such an impossible question, what about those small 200 questions that you would have in the exam tomorrow? You'll be able to do it. I am telling you, you will be able to do it. But the key is focus, don't give up, show up in the exam, give the exam of your life, rise to the occasion, and on the way to your exam hall, keep thinking about what will you tell me when I invite you to my studio for an interview after the INICET results. Just one or two lines. What would you say to others when you win big? What would be your victory speech? Imagine those words and go and give a great exam. I wish you all the best from the entire DAMS family. This is Dr. Sumer Sethi signing off. God bless you.